Hey, here we are, the week of May 25, 2015. The emphasis this week will be so completely dominated by Mercury, Gemini, and all things involving communications that it'll be hard for us to separate ourselves from the conversation of some sort. Very intense. The emphasis will be on discussion. What does that mean? And where does that discussion occur in your life? Much of the who, what, where, when, and why of that discussion will be determined by your individual astrological profile. Each of us will feel the impact of this strong and concentrated alignment of Mercury, now in retrograde, with the main driver, joined by the Sun and Mars. And someplace in your life this will be happening. When Sun and Mars join into the action, we can expect everything to be just lit up. Mars is the driver and it's the motivating underscore behind this whole conversation. We need to be heard about some important part of our lives. This may be in your family, your career, your relationship, or maybe even your creativity. In all cases, each of us will be influenced by this collection of energy as the planets align together to get us talking. One of the unique characteristics of being a human is our ability to express ourselves. It's a very interesting thing. When we initiate that attribute, we allow problems to be solved, our needs to be recognized, and our emotions to flow. As a cautionary note, with Mars swirling deep in the midst of this alignment, we may be unable to tone down our desires. Mars serves as the great motivator, the fire beneath us that pushes us to be heard and to be seen. With that in mind, we may be wise to carefully harness that impulse in a constructive manner rather than an inflammatory one. Makes sense. Elsewhere, across the zodiac, we see graceful Venus moving lovingly through Cancer, where her sense of beauty, nurture, and compassion may come to light. Staring directly across the zodiac at Saturn, the great equalizer, we may find that our ability to open up and literally face the music as this becomes readily apparent. This may be a time of honesty, depth, and rationale as we look deeply into our desires and our ideas and the view that we place. Saturn moves slowly and is also in retrograde, so the time may be right for renegotiation or reconsideration of all things that Venus brings to our life. Where is Venus in your current life? What do you need to rectify or reevaluate? The time need not be worrisome alignment, but rather simply one that allows us to dig a little deeper and have more transparency than we might normally have. In that light, we might be able to see an opportunity to extend our emotions and even repair ourselves as only Saturn can provide. Saturn is often viewed as being onerous, but in actuality, he is one of the one who draws a line in the sand and forces us to be accountable. Wherever Saturn is currently drifting through your life, that's where you will have the conversation that sets the record straight and perhaps lays down new tracks for going forward. It's really important to pay attention. Listen each week to Turning of the Wheel podcast on iTunes and a number of different radio stations. Interesting guests, interesting topics. Write to me for suggestions about topics or if you want to be a guest. I can be reached at 978-393-1036. My website is www.turningofthewheel.com. I also have a television site called www.turningofthewheel.tv where you'll find a ton of educational videos about planets and about aspects and a few other things. I'm gradually building up that database, but I encourage you to go and look at them, explore around turningofthewheel.tv and see what you can find. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube. Reach out and learn what you can about astrology. It is a fascinating divination tool, and I will talk to you all next week if I can get through this next week. We can all get through this next week.